want to turn the meeting over to Bill. And Bill, thank you for everything you do. You're a good brother to have. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. I hope they didn't pay you for that. I'm an alcoholic and my name is Bill. I'd like to welcome everyone here to our 1 year anniversary. I wanted to, actually, I learned how to screen share here too, so I'm going to impress you all, I think. I want to share something. I want to read something out of As Bill Sees It real quick, tell you why I read that, how this group got started, and then invite y'all in to share what's on your heart. And this is 72. Dependence, unhealthy or healthy. Nothing can be more demoralizing than a clinging and abject dependence upon another human being. This often amounts to the demand for a degree of protection and love that no one could possibly satisfy. So our hope for protectors finally flee once more, and we are left alone either to grow up or to disintegrate. That is a letter. And then out of the 12 and 12 Bill writes, we discovered the best possible source of emotional stability to be God himself. We found that dependence upon his perfect justice, forgiveness, and love was healthy, and that it would work where nothing else would. If we really depended upon God, we couldn't very well play God to our fellows, nor would we feel the urge to rely wholly on human protection and care. So about a year and a half ago, Nadia, claiming to have heard from God, told me that God told her that we were doing a big book study together. I tried to avoid it, and she finally pinned me down. And if I would say anything because of Nadia's conviction, her relationship with God, which is very strong, that if this group had a mantra and edict, this chapter of the Big Book Compendium would be where it says in the book, the main purpose of this book is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem. It's about developing a relationship with God, not an unhealthy dependency as to where I have to call someone to see if I have to go to the bathroom because I might not know. That's great in the beginning when I'm a day sober, just coming off the sauce. But after a while, what we're supposed to do is take the hand of the newcomer, our fellow, our friend, our protege, and place it in the hand of God. And I was down at a meeting in Fort Myers, and a young kid led a meeting. At first, it offended me, but back then, anything could have offended me because I knew nothing about recovery. He said, my job as a sponsor is to become as unnecessary in my sponsee's life as quickly as possible. And I thought, that's wrong. I've been calling the same guy for 30 years. He said, yeah, but you've been continually drinking for that long. And what happened is, as a result of driving everyone out of my life, I was at a point where if there wasn't a God, I was doomed. And if there was, I would do anything. And that's what happened. My life changed. It's emotional. I've never carried anything. I was always scared to do something. And I got involved with something. And Rob was here at the beginning. Ollie was here. There wasn't a whole bunch of us. I think we were all service members. And look at us now. Thank you guys for all coming and bringing your entourages respectively. I've invited everyone who's everyone that I could think of in the Big Book Compendium, plus people that have filled here, Gigi, Krissy, and DC, when Nadja couldn't be here to help out. And we've kept it going now for 53 weeks, and God willing, we'll keep it going for as long as he needs us. There's a couple of people that have to leave early. I know Rach came and made a guest appearance because I asked her to. You guys put her on the flyer, and she said she didn't think she could make it. She had to leave early. I said, if you come in, we'll get you in. If anyone has to go, you could raise your hand and come in early and then share what the compendium's done for you, what AA has done for you, your relationship with God, or whatever you want to talk about. And we'll study the book next week. The reason I elected not to, the last thing I'll say, is because I didn't want to embarrass myself with all you experts. So here we go.
Oh, my days. I was not expecting that. Oh, Bill, everyone on here, gosh, thank you so much. I mean, 53 weeks of dedication to this incredible literature, the Big Book Compendium, like the fire, the enthusiasm, the love, the passion, the message. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to every single person who has brought that inspired, enthusiastic love of this recovery program to life, for so many people. It's just so wonderful to be a part of it and to be alongside all of you. I just looking at the screen, it's like family. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm just going to keep it sweet. I wasn't expecting to talk. Thank you so much, Bill and Nadia and Paige and Steve and everyone. Thank you so much. I'll leave it there.
I know none of you are at a loss for words. Please come in and say something, or I'll put you in the waiting room. They've given me co-hosts some power.
David, you want to come in together?
Sure, we can do that. Absolutely.
David Galula. Oh, sorry, we're recording. Ignore that. David G, Jedi David G, recovered alcoholic, drug addict. And this is my buddy.
I'm David G, also recovered alcoholic and drug addict. Hi, guys.
So we have been having a blast on Wednesday nights. I think we're up to 83 weeks. And I think we skipped Christmas. So 84 weeks we've been doing this now and having a really good time talking about Big Book recovery, right? Like the thing that saved my life. And it's so fun here looking around the room, some people that I've gotten to know pretty well. And actually, some that I got to meet in person, which is cool, right? Paige, a bunch of times came from Chicago, and then Paul came across the pond, and Paige and I picked him up at the airport. Like, who would have thought, guys? Right? And it's only a matter of time till I get over to the UK and I give like Dell and Rach and Andy and everybody else big hugs too, right? I mean, this year I said I was going to do it, so I might yet. But who would have thought, right? When the pandemic hit us and we all got so freaked out and scared. But we were just like the AAs who went off to war. Like we doubled down. We jumped online. We had this thing, and now we got friends all over. Like, gotten to be good buddies with Howard and good buddies with Terry. Terry, we haven't even been talking about sports lately, probably because both of our teams were terrible this year, right? In football, but like not only brotherly, sisterly fellowship relationships that have come out of our passion for the big book, but like real friendships too, right? And David and I talk about this a bunch. The more that we study the big book and the more that we help people, learn what's that program recovery that's in the book, the more it reinforces our passion and our desire to do it. And, I stole this from David, and I'm sure he stole it from somebody else. Like we always got to wear three hats. We have to be teachers. Whoever came up with that stupid saying, there's no teachers in AA, we'd be doomed if there was no teachers in AA. I need someone to take me through the textbook and explain to me. Got to be a teacher, but I got to be a practitioner. I can't just be a coach. I got to be a player, and I got to be a student. And it's never ceases to amaze. Well, I'm speaking for David and me again here. About once every 3-4 weeks, we'll read something in the book, something we read 1,000 times. Be like, oh my God, who got into my book overnight and inserted this line there? Because it wasn't there the last time we did this. And David and I have been doing these since Zoom started. We just started with Big Book Compendium a couple of years ago, but we've been doing it for 5 years now. And we got through the book many times and never cease to be amazed at how many new learnings we have all the time as we continue to study. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, to piggyback what David said, we started right around the pandemic. We were doing individual Zoom meetings with people and taking them through the work out of the big book. And my wife was like, "You're spending more time in your office at home than you were going to meetings before." So, I got a nudge from God. I said, "Hey, David, would you like to do a big book study?" It was no doubt in my mind that him and I were supposed to do this together. And we kicked it off, and we were doing it locally, and then. We graduated to find the greatest people that I've ever met in my life, and a lot of you guys are here on Zoom, and you're great teachers. You really are. And to David's point, is like I learned something from every one of you guys, and I listen to you guys, by the way, a lot in my truck. I put you on, and Paige knows that when I go to a treatment center, right before a treatment center, I plug Paige in automatically because I need the enthusiasm. I love the enthusiasm. And Terry and Howard's a great teacher. David introduced me to Howard a few 24 hours ago, and I went through the 2 times through the book with Howard, and I was a little bit versed with it, and I feel like I'm a little bit more versed in it. I could continue to learn and practice this stuff. We are never come from the lineage of just don't put the plug in just put the plug in the jug, just don't drink between meetings, no big decisions in your first year. Oh, by the way, no big decisions in your first year. Are you kidding me? How about the first step being that I'm powers over alcohol in my life as unmanageable? That's a pretty big decision to have to make, to concede to my innermost self. And then how about came to believe that a power greater than myself is going to restore me to sanity? Then I'm going to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. Then I'm going to do this searching of feral moral inventory. Then I'm going to sit down with another individual. I think them are all the biggest decisions I'm ever going to make in my entire life. So yeah, we're going to make some big decisions. And the best part about this is, and just like this Zoom meeting is right here, right now, we're going to do this shoulder to shoulder, and I don't have to have any fear, that I can have a lot of fun in this thing. And I'm going to draw it closer to the power each and every time I teach this, I learn this, and I practice this. So yeah, thank you guys for letting me be a part of this, and all you guys. And Rob, I can't thank you enough for always
Oh,
supporting our group
Rob.
on Wednesday night. Dude, I always, if David's not in town, I always shoot Rob a text like, dude, you're gonna be there, right? You got the door, right? You got the chat, you got all this stuff because I don't know how to do any of the tech stuff. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for all the support. Love all y'all.
Good evening, good afternoon, or wherever it is in the world, and that's what we never know, do we? I'm Jeff. I'm an alcoholic, grateful recovering alcoholic, and I'm here in Nottingham in the UK. Not a place I thought I'd end up, but a lot of things about my recovery and my sobriety have been very different than I ever thought would happen. What am I doing here? First time at this meeting, and I usually go to a in-person meeting on a Monday night, but recovery in Nottingham, I thought it was good to begin with, but unfortunately, it's not so good. The meetings have got very large and there's friction, and I don't like friction. So I've decided to, Monday night now, an AA meeting. And I thought I was going to learn all about the big book today, but um, no worries. It's nice to come in here somewhere fresh, and that's what you can do. You haven't got to travel miles. It's one of the problems I had up here. I'm only traveling out by bus, and I'd go like have to change a bus halfway through, and the bus was late, so the next one I can't. Ah, dear. So I've been doing Zoom. So I actually host the meeting on a Sunday night, which I really enjoy. All this is part of my recovery, and I spent many years trying to get sober. The war stories and everything else. I was absolutely insane with alcohol, and I went to rehab. But the only thing that rehab taught me was there's AA, and once I found AA, I was all in. And my poker hand went straight in, and I went up to I was doing up to 20 meetings in the first year of my sobriety. I did close on 1,000 meetings, but I started to I didn't count the Zoom meetings to begin with, but now my majority meetings are like this, and I can't thank you enough for running this sort of thing. It's a great way to where can you sit down in a warm, comfortable room. The only disturbance I get are I foster cats, and they can be a bit of a nuisance sometimes, but it's the joys of sobriety. You usually lose things before you start recovery, but I've lost two houses and my marriage in sobriety. But if I'd still been in the madness, life wouldn't be like it is. I'm happy, calm, and comfortable. But my wife's she's not one of us, but she actually suffers from mental health, and it's all gone wrong. So, and I've gone through all this and I've spent two birthdays, two Christmases, two New Years. I was actually away for New Year, and I couldn't believe the people I was with opened a bottle of champagne at midnight, and 3 days later was still drinking the same bottle. It was what's life like now? It is good. It was only a week ago financially settled, and just looking forward to a new life, and I hope to come back to this. So I know I see Paige about, and I love her sort of very active, very very positive. I'm a positive person. That's, that is my life. And I say, if I fill myself up with positive things, when life shapes me as it does, only positive things come out. So, yeah, happy, joyous, and free. And thank you for this meeting this evening. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Okay, I got so excited I forgot to set the timer. We set the timer for 3 minutes here. I apologize about that. Thank you, David, for the reminder. I'm brand new at this. Come on, Gigi.
Hey guys, I'm an alcoholic. I'm Gigi. It's great to see everybody. I basically am going to echo the same thing, that everybody else said. I was at 6 years sober when the pandemic hit. I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life. I had a lot of commitments below the group level, and my ego was flying high, and I was not getting what I craved. We have a craving for alcohol, and I had a craving for the big book. And where I was located, there was nothing like what I'm finding. Right here, where I live right now, there was nothing. So we started a meeting just like this in person. Um, I was getting sloganeered left and right, put the plug in the jug, meeting makers make it. And anytime I made one of my caustic jokes, like meeting makers make coffee, I got a dirty look. So I learned to keep my mouth shut, and that was it. And I hoped to learn, but I wasn't learning. But the problem was, I thought I had this tremendous amount of knowledge. I can't learn anything. And then, surprise, surprise, along comes Bill, along comes Paige, along comes Terry, along comes Howard. And the girl that thought she couldn't learn anything, wow, it's amazing how little I knew. So, and I want to personally thank a bunch of people on here who've done service in the Big Book meeting that I founded on Sunday nights. Everybody has done a month for me. Some people have done 2 months for me. I mean, like, wow, Paige is probably going to come back for a third and a fourth and a fifth month. Um, and it was just awesome. And I got to tell you guys, I am so eternally grateful. I know a lot of people feel that when we say, and we know because we only say this to each other, that that was a kind of a godsend for us. We know what we're talking about, right? And we don't mean that in a negative way. People died, people got sick, whatever. But for us, it was a godsend. And to me, that was a vision for you, to reach the most alcoholics anytime, anywhere, and a connection with anybody in the world. So thank you guys so much. This is amazing.
Did you want to start calling on people if they don't raise their hands right away? Come on, Maura.
Hi, everybody. Mar Alcoholic. If you know me, you know I can yap, so I'll be quick about it. Well, I won't be quick about it, but you guys that were just sharing apparently had recovery before Zoom. I did not. I did not seek recovery before the pandemic, and I just not only I love Zoom, but I love these solution-based meetings that aren't exclusive, that are just recovery based and big book based, because that's something I needed so much. I had a very narrow view of what AA was. I had like dabbled in in-person meetings for about a decade before I seriously tried to get sober, and they were nice. They were pleasant. I got to know about people's day. I got to know how they were doing, right? But I didn't understand that there was a textbook. There was a textbook and a history book that had clear-cut instructions that walked you through what it is to recover, and not just to stop drinking, but to truly have a different way of life. And that's what these meetings have done for me. And I'm so thankful that I was able to like randomly glom on to some of you guys and like follow you and be able to be in solution-based meetings, and meetings where we break down paragraph by paragraph what these things mean. Because I don't think, it's not that I couldn't have done it by myself. Maybe I could, I don't know, ego, but like I wouldn't have had the wherewithal to understand the history. Like Gigi breaks down the history for me in such a way, and Paige, I mean, I don't want to name everybody, but honestly, anyone that's a part of this compendium series speaks so much knowledge and passion to the words in this, and not just experience, not just, strength and hope, but like what this entire program can do for us. And I just think it's incredible, and I'm very thankful that there are a group of meetings like this here. It's just, I can't really put words to it, but I just wanted to make sure that I came in and shared my appreciation, because I wouldn't have the slight amount of recovery I do today without you guys. So thank you.
You're up, Jim.
Jim Alcoholic. I think this is my first time in this meeting, and I'm grateful that I didn't miss this. I've had a lot of people tell me that a lot of new people that were just getting sober go, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I've always thought, well, I'm a far better example than I am a teacher when it comes to verbal communications. And I've always felt that way. And that's not just humility, it's just the fact that I accept my limitations. But the fact of the matter is, when Bill Swan showed up in my life, I knew that the teacher had shown up. And I was a student, and I needed to listen. And I listened every time I get a chance. One of the things that we take advantage of is our failures. Our failures become lessons that illuminate the correct way forward in recovery if we use them. One of the things that always mystified me when people say, hey, that big book is different now. There's things in there that didn't used to be in there. And I began to experience that same thing. And I was going, why would that be the case? I have a relationship with God when I started out as an atheist, but I have a powerful relationship with God that this program gave me, recovery gave me. And so I finally did something that I hadn't heard anybody else say they did. I changed the book from a Bill W. source to a God source, where I felt like I'm going to be reading what God has to say about recovery, because it's just no way that I can explain how people with less than 5 years put this together without divine intervention. And so once I started reading that big book like it was God talking to me, everything in that book changed in meaning. And today, I'm grateful that I look at that like that. I came in here, the three things came with me: my shadow, my disease, and God. Came in here and sit down. And now I can get up out of here and leave God here, but I can't leave my disease and my shadow. The thing is, I'm going to need God all day long to help me deal with this disease, because my self will manifest periodically throughout every day. I haven't had a single day when I didn't exercise self-will and have to come back to God and go, God, please forgive me. Bill, thank you for being what you are, for all the good work that you do. Thank you for being in my life.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm Paige, I'm an alcoholic, and it is such a privilege to be able to be here. And thank you, Bill, for putting this all together, and bringing us all together. There's something really special at Big Book Compendium. And it's not limited to Big Book Compendium, although I'd like to think it is. But it's not. There's God, there's this book, there's a passion for and an enthusiasm for what we have here. And it is so beautiful for so many of us, Big Book enthusiasts, to get connected. And it's wild because I have met most of you in person. And most of us don't even live in the same country. And for those that I have met in person, I want to apologize profusely for the bird watching. Because poor David, we're picking up Paul. I'm like, well, would you look at those European starlings? And poor Terry's been through it with me in the anywho. But we have something here at Big Book Compendium, and it's not, it is, the book. It is God. It is this passion. It is these recovered members coming together, but it is more than that. And I love that David spoke about how we're teachers. And, in that, it reminded me of like the privilege because I got to be the substitute for the Davids for a long time, the substitute teacher. Oh man, I do this other big book study, so I'm not able to sub in like I used to, and I miss it. I miss it because I love doing it with you guys. And, you know, that idea that like we come together and we help each other, and I think about like Rob and Allie and like Maureen and like some of the people that just come behind the scenes and put it all together and and we work together and we help each other, and it's not just like, yeah, we got these independent big book studies, but there's this beautiful overlap that we see by Bill bringing us all together here today, and it's just the most incredible thing to be a part of, and it didn't start out with 78 people in a room talking about how much they love recovery. And Steve brought us all together, and there are some times where it was a little touchy, and it was like it wasn't necessarily going to grow into what it is. We had probably, oh, it's a bird reference. Oh, she's coming out with a bird reference. It was a little bit of a fledgling society. See what I did there? Yeah, some of you are like, oh God, who invited her? Bill invited me specifically, probably so I'd make the flyer, but I was invited. And it's just the most incredible thing to see, not just people coming together, but people recovering and getting well and experiencing this magic. So again, I want to thank all of you who let me show up on Mondays and Fridays with Terry, pew pew, and be a part of this. So thank you.
Hey, Derek Alcoholic, what up, my people? What up, y'all? Y5. What's happening? So glad to be here. I mean, I had to say something, man, because there's a lot of people on here I love. I mean, really, really love, and I met some people in person. Oh man, too many. All the co-hosts. Let me say that. All the hosted co-hosts. Love you. Let me put it like that, And then there's a lot of faces in here that I've grown relationships with in this meeting. And gosh, I don't know what my recovery would look like without you guys. I don't. I don't have a clue. I only attend literature meetings. I try not to. Well, let me take that back. I try to only attend literature meetings. So every one of these host and co-host and everybody in these meetings, I've studied with you. I've sat under your tutelage, and I'm grateful for that because again, we're all here because we're chosen, right? We're chosen. When you think about all the alcoholics who haven't found the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous yet, and all the people who've passed, who hadn't got the chance to hear the message that we have, we're chosen. We are chosen. And we sharpen each other in meetings like the Big Book Compendium. We sharpen each other in big book studies. We sharpen. Iron sharpens iron. And there's another spiritual text that says, many are called, but few are chosen. And what do the chosen do? Because the chosen are called too. But what did the chosen do? The chosen inspire the called. And that's what y'all do to me. Y'all inspire every being of this dude. That's why I got so much energy. So I'm still learning to be humble, trying to stay teachable. Bill, you look fresh, baby. Keep wearing that tie. I love you, Doc. Y'all take care. I love y'all, man.
Hi, my name is George, and I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I'm oblivious. I thought I was just tuning in to hear Bill and Krissy talk about the big book today, and it's been a wonderful journey. And I know when I met Bill, I said, "Oh yeah, there's something special there." Yeah, I like that. And when I first got sober, I knew I was dependent on alcohol, and I got rid of that dependencies. And I had a sense of myself that I didn't need God, and I had a sense that I was a pretty independent guy. And I've come to learn it's just the opposite on both those topics. I needed God, and I was only codependent with people, places, and things, that wasn't too much to be dependent upon. If without God, I was dependent on everything to act right for me to feel happy. And as we all know, life don't act right. Life gets pretty lifey out. And the ability to, I came into when I discovered these rooms, obviously like everybody during COVID, I started to realize how big a universe is out there. But man, I'm growing more and more and learning. Oh my God. I got a book the other day and I looked at it and I'm like, some people really put some thought into this thick book. And I thought, I'm not alone. The things I've been wondering about for 36 years, they've put pen to pencil and done some study on it, and I can learn from them. And I love these meetings. I don't know most of you, but I want to. That's all I got. I'll shut up. Thank you.
Thank you. There's going to be a little rotation in the order here. I'm going to have Terry come in now, then Marietta, then Howard, then Paul, then Krissy. Because they're humble. They won't raise their hand, so I got to call on them. Come on, Terry.
I was trying to practice humility, bro. Name's Terry, alcoholic. Good to see everyone. Kind of a little baffled why I'm here, man. I'm amongst my heroes, people that I really look up to, and it's just an honor to be part of this panel. Oh, there's my favorite. It's I mean, Bill, you're one of my favorite speakers. I don't want to tell you that 'cause I don't want to blow up smoke up your ass. But he's such a wordsmith, man. I could just listen to you all day, man. Thank you for getting this thing together. The Davids, I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything you guys do. 80 weeks? That's a long time. Me and Paige are on that pace right now. We're doing like what? I don't know, a page, yeah, 1 page a day. What can we do, right? Um, but I remember I don't know who heard me. I think Dave, I don't know which David heard me speak, but David G reached out to me, and then I get on the phone like a Zoom call, and there's two Davids. I'm like, oh, like who the hell called me? I was trying to figure that out, but they started talking about statements and turned them into questions. I'm like, oh man, these guys talk my language. Who else? Paige, I love you, Paige. I caught her bird watching in Toronto. She's exactly the same as she is online as in person. Just letting you guys know. You're just a ball of enthusiasm. And, who else? Howard. Howard, I was scared poopless to call Howard. Like, he says he's not a guru on his workshop. He is. Dude, come on. I mean, you were throwing 1930s definition of forbidding and exclusive yesterday. I was like, who is this guy? And I'm writing it down. I'm like, man, you're just a you're just a wealth of knowledge, and I love how you just give it away for free. So, thank you for being my hero. Uh, there's so many people on here. I was only given 3 minutes to talk. I can't even say my name in 3 minutes. So, I think I just want to thank everybody. You guys know who you are. I love every single one of you, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you.
I was just happy to be in a position to be. Hi, Marietta, recovered compulsive overeater. Yeah, I'm grateful. And you can find it on page 500 in the big book. I was grateful I was guided in this direction. And I'm grateful that God provided these human beings that speak the simple language of love that's written on these pages in the first 164 pages, and that these individuals picked up God's words as they were presented to the men and women of AA so that I, a compulsive overeater, could recover. That I could recover from that seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Because, we're all recovering from the same thing. It doesn't matter what substance we're using. I'm recovering from that seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. And I'm so grateful that what has been presented is that the instructions that were laid out for me that make it so much easier for me to interpret is when I have a guide that has guided me through so that I can see the blessings, the promises, and the prayers that are laid out there for me. You know, the book contains more than the third step prayer and the seventh step prayer. There's many prayers, and it's my responsibility. And I'm assuming it's from Bill W.'s words that it's each of our responsibility to give a adequate representation of this book. And it wasn't until I was given an adequate representation and I was guided through compendium. And I was so glad when I got there that the door was open. It didn't just say alcoholics only. You go away. You know, you go away because you're female. You go away because of whatever. It's all inclusive because God is all inclusive. As he's trying to teach me how to be all inclusive in how I walk on this earth, that I'm not leaving heavy footprints, but I'm leaving a print on somebody's heart because of how I am, because how God is working through me. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Marietta. Howard, you're up.
Yeah. My name is Howard Ebert. I am an alcoholic and an addict, and I kind of speechless. Some 15 or 16 years ago, we started these workshops in Connecticut. And when COVID hit, since I had a lot of people that reached out to me over those years who had heard about it on YouTube and recovery and us AA speakers, we started a meeting of those people right away on Sunday night when COVID hit. And, you know, I don't like to admit it, but I'm a competitive person. And when other groups started, like the Big Book Compendium, like the Spiritual Cartel, I thought, well, the big BBCA has to do more than they're doing. And what was the end result of that is I got real close and real friendly with Steve Wood and with Purdy. And we are now involved in joint ventures between the BBCA and the Compendium and the Spiritual Cartel. One of these days, I'm hoping we could tie all three of them in together because we're all doing the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. You know, when I said in the beginning I was a little speechless, it's because of what Terry just said. Terry happened to be on the meeting last night. I didn't notice it. I didn't notice him. There were a lot of people. There were some 150 people last night, and that just blows me away when I see that. And I talked about those definitions because that's what I do. That's what I think of. And I don't think of the effect that it has, and that someone like Terry, who has his own following, he has his own big book studies, he has his own approach to things, is still paying attention to me. And I go to hear him, and I go to hear David and David. And I go just about anywhere. Paige has to appear because I am still a student of all of these people. You know, one of the problems, there's a lot of problems with organized religions, but I think the great thing organized religion has given us is it's given us messengers. It's given us carriers like Jesus, like Martin Luther King, like Bill Wilson, like Joe and Charlie, people who carried these messages to us, because Jesus wasn't starting a religion, he was starting a school. He wasn't preaching, he was teaching. And this room is filled with teachers. You know, you just take a look at this list of people, and yeah, we're all maladjusted to life. We're all in full flight from reality, and we are all outright mental defectives. But we are carrying a message that is life-giving. In this book, there's nothing better than that. So I'm going to take that cue and thank you all for coming. I love you all. Thank you.
I was hoping that the alarm would go off on you, Howard, you competitive person, you. Come on, Paul.
Thanks, Bill. My name's Paul. I'm an alcoholic. Um, the Big Book Compendium has played a massive, massive part in my recovery, and I want to say thank you. I met this guy called Terry just a little over 20 months ago, and that guy changed the trajectory of my recovery. Terry, I love you for that, bro. I'll always be grateful, man. And then he introduced me to Paige at this Monday night book study, and I started to hang out with Paige, and it just grew from there, all these book studies. And I've got to you know what's crazy? I got to hang out with a lot of these people on here, Terry, but not you. Not you. I've got to hang out with Bill. I've got to hang out with Paige. I've got to hang out with the Jedi, the two Davids, and we had pizza. And this is all the ripple effect of meeting you somewhere along my recovery, bro. And it's absolutely changed everything that I did. I just think it's selfish that it's on at 1 a.m. in the morning UK time, and I'm at work these days, and I can't I can't get to be there so much. And I even got to, and as a result of this, the Big Book Compendium, I got to. I'm just gonna say, it. Where's Eileen? Eileen's on here somewhere. That lady, she paid for me to go out to Akron to hang out with all these people that I look up to, and I'll be forever ever grateful. And it's made memories that I'll never. I'm sorry for dropping you in it like that, Eileen, but it's true. I'll be forever grateful. And he even got to I got to share a room with Bill. This guy I've got so much love for. If anybody ever thinks about sharing a room with Bill, think twice about it, man. That guy snores like a train. I wanted to smother him by the end of the night. But it doesn't stop the love that I have for each and every single one of you guys, and David for pulling me up. And these people are all from the Big Book Compendium. I love every single one of you that take your time out to sit down and take us through that big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and share your experiences. And Howard, I got to hang out with Howard in Ireland and in London, and all these people that are sat here that do this. They're like people that I look up to. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love each and every single one of you. Thanks, Bill.
Yes, Paul. We've asked Krissy to come in, please.
Krissy, alcoholic. Thanks, Bill. Hi, everybody. I feel honored to be in here with you guys. I actually feel like I'm going to cry. I know that's just because my heart is wide open right now, and I feel really grateful. I was just thinking, Terry actually was doing a book study in probably 2021 or something with another guy, and that was when I finally had surrendered my fight against God, and I started to let God be part of my recovery, and everything started to change for me. And I was hungry, and I wanted to learn that book, and you were teaching it, and I was learning it, you and Roy. And, I was on a chase. I listened to Howard's book study. I've been listening to, I mean, like every single one of you people on here, I'm looking going, yep, I've learned from every single person here. And what a gift we have. I know that God places me exactly where I'm supposed to be with exactly the right people. And, sometimes God puts the person in front of me for me to say to them exactly what I need to remember. And if you didn't catch that, it means I'm telling you what I need to hear because I'm sick, and I can only see it in you first before I can actually hear the words of God coming through me to, it's like the truth comes through, and, where two or more are gathered, in God's name, there he is. And that's what seems to happen for me. I'm just really this open forum where everybody's welcome. I appreciate that too. I belong to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I do see the difference of being all inclusive here. I never feel comfortable turning anybody away, and I never would, and that's what this Big Book Compendium is doing. And it's reaching far and wide, and what a gift. We're God's agents. I think I'm in a room full of agents right now, spearheads of God's ever advancing creation. Thank you, God. We have been given this ability to go out there and pierce people with that arrow, get them right in the heart, catch them, pew, pew, pew. So I think I'll leave it at that. been a great meeting. Thanks, everybody. Oh, one more thing. The reading that you chose, Bill, that you shared at the beginning, number 72, I actually took a picture, and the line that was most apropos for me was, once more, we are left alone either to grow up or to disintegrate. And for a long time, I continued to disintegrate because I had no program, no God, and I couldn't care about anybody else. And when I started to get the real solution and I started to grow, I was willing to grow. And that is what has been happening. And I'm growing in AA. I started at like a bratty 15-year-old mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And I feel like I've stepped into the kingdom in this new land, and I have been empowered to save lives. I mean, really, that's what we get to do: avert misery and death for others using our experience. Thanks, everybody.
You, Krissy. Sweet Larissa. The song.
Hi, Larissa. Hi, alcoholic. And I just excited to see that I just saw this. I realized that when I saw the 1 year anniversary thing, I was like, wow, I've been with you guys since you guys started. And you know, I don't constantly go to every meeting, but I've been to every meeting, and I do hit at least one every week. I just really want to say thank you guys for what you do here. And it's because of you guys that I'm able to spread the message, that I've been able to open a women's big book study and be able to pass along this message, the message in the big book, not just a message, but the message. And I get that from you guys. You guys are the ones who taught me and passed it on to me so I can pass it on to others. So thank you so much. It's so nice to see you all here. And that's all I got. Mwah.
Thanks, Larissa. Thank you for your faithful attendance. Okay, Maureen, come on down.
Oopsie doodle. Maureen, alcoholic and sober woman. And I have to say thanks to all of you. I am a Zoom baby. I've never met my sponsor in person. I'm on page 33 in the big book. I didn't become drinking alcoholically until I retired. And so you're looking at my hair, you think I've been in AA a long time, but not so. I'm coming up on 5 years, and I have learned so much from all of you, and I continue to grow and just have such gratitude for all of you. I appreciate you so much. You have definitely enriched my life. And, you know, I'm like getting all verklempt. I'm getting teary-eyed. I just love you all so much, and I really, really, truly appreciate you. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of my recovery.
Thank you, Maureen. Richard K.
My name's Richard. I'm alcoholic. Grateful to be here and be sober. Boy, God puts us in the right place at the right time. I started coming to Big Book Compendium. Somebody sent me a flyer, and the late, great Derek F. was speaking. And I was floating around Alcoholics Anonymous with long-term not drinking. Didn't have a lot of message to carry. And he started off his talk by saying, "My name's Derek. I'm a real alcoholic." And my reaction was, what in the hell is this guy talking about? And the more I listened, the more I learned. And I want to thank Rob and Paige and both Davids, the regular David and the Jedi David. And I attend these meetings frequently. And and Howard too, and his wonderful wife. And what this thing has done for me is it's given me a better ability to carry this message to the alcoholic that's still suffering. And what a gift that is to see the light come on in people's eyes and be able to take them through the book. And you know, when I got here, I could hardly read, write, or talk. And when they put a book in front of me and said, you got to read this to get sober, I was like, well, first of all, I dropped out of school. I read backwards. I don't comprehend what I read. And if this is how I'm going to get sober, there's a better chance of me dying. But thank God there's people like you all in this room and a sponsor that I have now that's been able to, you know, help me read it line by line, use a big book dictionary and look up words so I can understand what things mean. And so I want to thank you guys for changing my life. You know, that's a big deal. This message that we get to carry is the greatest news in the world for an alcoholic. So thanks for being here for me, and I plan on coming back. So thank you.
Thank you. Before we call in JC, I just want to let you know Steve texted and said he apologized that he couldn't be here. He had an early doctor appointment. He thought he would be out in time, but he was not. He was real sick the last couple of weeks with COVID. So he's here with us in spirit. And apparently he entrusted me with you guys. Come on, JC.
I will. JC alcoholic, well, addict as well. Yeah, so Paige gave me this flyer last night, and I'm like, oh wow, there's all my celebs, heroes on this flyer. So I'm definitely gonna try and join. I know it's funny, you know, the first time I came across any of you guys, Young started Audio Anonymous, and he posted a share of Terry. And a few days later, God put Terry in my path, and I reached out to him, and Terry became my host. Sorry, my sponsor. And he took me through the book the first time after years of relapsing and relapsing and relapsing, and not knowing what the book even meant, right? Terry took me through that book page by, you know, line by line, page by page, and I got it. I thought I got it, you know, but I didn't do one thing. I didn't want to sponsor people. I was selfish, right? And I went back out. And, you know, a lot of people on this meeting reached out to me throughout those five months. Bill, Paige, well, not Paige, yes, Paul, Terry, you know, a lot of people, Andy, I think as well, Krissy, you know, and I came back and I started working with Paige. And the first thing she told me is, you're not going to be a recovery thief. You're going to sponsor someone straight away. And through her help and through Bill's help and through all of you guys' help as well, you know, I was able to start here in Malta. Even though people don't show up most weeks, I'm there. I go and show up, you know, and I open the door and I'm there, you know. And sometimes we have 8 people, sometimes we have none, you know, but it's okay. And then I'm really happy to be here. Thank you. So, oh, I want to say one thing as well, Bill, the thing you actually shared, you know, and what Krissy said, we have to grow up. Today I went to work for the first time in 12 years. And at 12 o'clock at night, I was not going to work. And I could not sleep. I got so nervous, I could not sleep. And so I managed to fall asleep, but I got into my head, I'm not going to work. And I woke up at 5 and I was still not going to work. But within 3 minutes, God told me, you have to go to work because you're going to regret it, right? I went to work. I was there for 8 hours, enjoyed it, you know, and that was God working in my life because I thought I would never work again. You know, that's how entitled I was. You know, that's what little humility I had. I had never worked for anyone else in my life. And it's all thanks to you guys and to God. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. And I want to see if my illustrious co-host, DC, always on call, can come in and share if she's at work. DC, can you come in for a minute? Or 3? There we go.
I sure can. Thanks, Bill. My name's DC. I'm an alcoholic. Man, thank you so much for the invitation to be here and to celebrate the 1 year of this compendium. You know, I'll celebrate 4 years of sobriety next month. You know what I mean? If I keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll tell you what, when I look back at the last year of my recovery, I've really had an opportunity to dive into the substance of this program, right? Dive into the big book, line by line, page by page. I've been gifted with the opportunity to be in the presence and even sometimes as a co-host, right, with people like you, Bill, where we get to dive into this thing and we get to talk about the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, this program of recovery that has been working for almost 90 years, right? Saving alcoholics one at a time, gives us the tools to be able to help save other alcoholics, right? Take them through the work. And for that, I'm grateful. Bill, I learned so much from you and your perspective. You know, I had an opportunity to spend some time with you in another meeting earlier this week. You know, and like I said, you know, the message that you carry, the places that you're led to in the big book, in this program, are truly divinely inspired. And so I get inspiration from people like you and from Terry and from Paige and from Sam. I mean, so many people on this meeting has already been said, you know what I mean, that I get to be a part of. I get to walk this walk with. What a beautiful gift. And, you know, to think 4 years ago when I got here, I didn't think that I had anything to give. I didn't think anybody wanted what I have or would ever want anything I have. And today I have the opportunity to sit in rooms like this and Zoom rooms like this and share my experience, my strength, my hope, what I've learned in the spirit of altruism, to be able to carry the message to other alcoholics. That's what it's about. That's what Big Book Compendium has been about, right? Breaking it down, because I can't interpret this thing by myself. I mean, I can certainly try, but if I'm trying to read this book by myself, you know, I'm subject to what's going on here, my own interpretations, my own thoughts, my own meanings. And you know what? Instead, God has put me in the path with other alcoholics who've spent a lot of time in this book, who spent a lot of time with other alcoholics and with God, right? Bringing us a divine message. And I get to be a part of that today. And this is no exception. Bill, thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you so much for all you do. And that's all I've got. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I'd like to share something with you guys, if I may. You guys have heard my story, and you know, like in the Eminem rap battle, when Eminem told the rapper everything about Eminem, and he had no ammunition. Well, I've told you guys the last 3 years of my active alcoholism before I got sober, and that David Hollister was in my life. And they had a memorial service yesterday down at one of the groups in Florida. It was on Zoom. And I was scared to go on at first, especially I was going to change my name, that's not a good idea. And I remember there's a line in the book says, all men of faith have courage. And it was a memorial, and there was a lot of things I could have said about David that were very honorable, and I wanted to. And I listened to the people share, and when I spoke up, they said, you can't talk. And then someone said, I believe David would let him speak, and I did. You know, they casted some aspersions, which were true, that I was a liar, a cheat, and a thief. And I said, well, it sounds like you called me an alcoholic. You know, I took offense to that. But that I had taken David's house and put it in my name, which wasn't true, but that I had an interest in it. And I think the thing I regret the most, Howard, is that I said at the end, I said, although it be none of your business, I released all my interest in anything that he placed in trust for me, which was true. But it bothered me because, not so much because I come here and I tell you guys what a rotten life I lived both inside and outside of the fellowship. And I'm well received and honored. So it touches my heart that you say that. And what I heard yesterday, I kind of felt bad for what lives on inside of these people that are allegedly recovered alcoholics, because resentment and animosity amongst their own is very deadly, not necessarily for me, but for them. So I don't always see what you got. I guess what I'm saying is I don't always see these accolades that you're telling me, because the guy that walked through the door here and got sober 34 months ago today, actually, still lives inside of me, or it still reminds me of who or what I am. But it was a sad thing, because I wanted to say the things that David taught me, and no one wanted to hear it. This morning when I prayed about it, you know, the memorial was for David, not for them. And I think they blew it out of proportion, but they didn't say anything that was not true about me. It's just what my sponsor said. The guy that was there yesterday to honor David is not the guy who was doing the things in the past to David. And I want to share that with you guys, because it kind of hurt me and I didn't know how to react to it. And I haven't talked to my sponsor yet. But you guys, I can tell you anything, and no matter what, you love me just where I'm at and just the way I am, except when I find fault with you, and give me time. Who else would like to go? It is 1:03. We usually keep this meeting for an hour and a half, but it doesn't have to be. We didn't study the book. More of it was experiential today, but anyone could share. Come on, Jim.
Jim Alcoholic. You know, I came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. This compendium meeting is a product of an act that God performed. When COVID showed up, we were going to be isolated to our own homes, alone, with the worst person that we could possibly be alone with, ourselves. And God poured steroids on Zoom, and recovery programs exploded around the world. Compendium is just one of thousands that exist. I can punch in a few numbers and go to Cape Town. I can punch in a few numbers and go to Ukraine, a few numbers and go to a Russian meeting. God did that. So if you have any doubts about whether God's at work in our lives or not, you consider the very fact that we're sitting here communicating with each other from all over the world. And God was the one that actually provided the medium for us. I needed to say that, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And we won't beat a dead horse. I mean, if the meeting's going to end, we don't like for anything to end. We do stay on afterwards, as you know. Oh, come on in, Del K from the UK.
My name's Delman Alcoholic. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for making the meeting possible. Yeah, just wanted to come in and reiterate what other people have been saying. I know I haven't been a consistent person at this meeting, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that you and a few other people have managed to keep these doors open, and it's built upon that, And we're here, like it says, to carry the message, not the mess. It says in the book that we carry the message of it here, in its purest form from the book. And I just wanted to come in and thank everyone for being here. I'm a bit overwhelmed, the amount of people that are in the room, and like it's been said, the amount I thought when lockdown started that would be the end, but it's been a renaissance for it here, because in Britain the message has been going down the toilet slowly, and through this platform that we're on now, and all the things that have happened during lockdown and after, and like it's been said, the amount of workshops and big books and this one as well going around, we've managed to reignite it. We've reignited it one day at a time. And I'm here because of yous. I'll leave it there. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Del.
I would love to share real quick, Bill. Can I share real quick? Carla here. You hear me?
Yes, Carla, come on.
Oh,
Howard
great.
didn't have to wait, sir.
Thank you, Bill. Congratulations. 34 years. Wow. You were such a great trusted servant, and your message. DC, I love you. I'm so glad I jumped on late, but I've been wanting to hear you, and you were there. Wow. God is so amazing. Other people on here that I love, and I've been on this once before, but I don't know. I mean, it's true, God just rearranged the day. I was supposed to get a job interview, I thought. That's what I planned on. Then she called and canceled because people called out as cashiering. And so she's in trouble, the office manager. So then I got to go to a in-house women's meeting, which was pretty good. The speaker was off the chart. But, there's a lot of dead sobriety going on in some of the meetings. But you guys here, we are so blessed to have Zoom, because I have friends all over the world too, and I just need to let them know what they've done for me, the inspiration, and it's just great to be here. Thank you so much, Bill, for running this meeting. And Del, I just saw him. There was a UK meeting this morning with a speaker. I got to see that. I was like, where did I see Del? Yeah, I saw him on the Zoom meeting. So thank you, everybody. Love you. So much love here. Bye.
Thanks, Carla. You know what they say, Howard, one is too many and 1,000 never enough. So come on in for round 2, sir.
Oh, please let Pepper go first. Please let Pepper go.
Thank you so much.
everybody, Bill and everybody here, happy first birthday. And I have so much to say, yet only needs a few words. Each and every one of you, thank you. And most grateful to God who has connected us. We're just link workers, linked together, connected by God. I'm a silly little alcoholic from the UK just by Heathrow Airport. Been 3 years sober. I was dying in Alcoholics Anonymous. And then I heard Paige, and I didn't even think to follow her. I didn't have the self-worth to be able to get her number. But I prayed and took a leap of faith. And she's helped to connect me with the sponsor who's taken me through the steps. She's my step guide. But I've been reborn again. I feel alive. And each and every one of you, Howard and Kathy, have heard your big book study too, and what different flavors, yet carrying the message with such simplicity. It really gives me the chills sitting here. And it's not UK friendly, okay. But thank you for the recordings, because absolutely can't get enough, and I want more and more and more of the big book studies. And I love you all very much. I don't make it to all the meetings, but thank you. You go way beyond. Even Thierry and Paige, the recordings I hear, I feel that I'm present there. But thank you all for this silly little alcoholic, and not just helping me. Some of you may or may not know God and the word that you share of Alcoholics Anonymous. My beautiful daughter is in the fellowship, and she's celebrating 18 months sober a day at a time, in Alcoholics Anonymous. But thank you all so much. It's your prayers, all the wisdom that I get, inspiration and hope from you. And thank you. Have a lovely evening, day, afternoon, whatever time it is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Papa. Howard, you should have gone in before I had something else to say, because I like to, come on.
I like to, when I share, tell this story. And this meeting reminds me of it. There was a young girl who spent her vacation with her family visiting the great cathedrals of Europe. And she was very moved as she stood under the stained glass windows, bathed in warmth and light coming through those windows. So she asked the tour guide, who are those figures in the window? And he said, they are the saints. So when she got home to school and the teacher asked her what she did on her vacation, she said, I saw the saints. And when the teacher asked her, who are the saints? In her magnificent innocence, that little girl said, they're the ones who let the light in. Now, I believe God got very tired of seeing us die from this disease. So he set in motion a chain of events in the early 30s through saints on earth here, through Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob and Fitz Mayo and Dr. Jung and Dr. Silkworth, and I can go on for an hour. And through those saints, he's let the light in for millions of us. And if God worked through people then, he most certainly works through people today. So he put saints on earth in my life, saints like Rachel and David and Bill and Rob and Terry and Paige and everyone here today. And through those saints, he's let the light in for every one of us. So I am grateful to be here and maybe just pass along the slightest flicker of that light to someone who's here for the first time today and thinks, you know what? I want to get a piece of this thing, so I'm going to be here for the second anniversary. Thanks.
Thank you, Howard. So much for our daily reprieve. Howard's planning a year from now, but why not? Oh, 5 o'clock. I'll see you, Howard. You can get even with me then. Anyone else? Any last minute? All right. Before I turn it back over to Paige, turn it over to Paige for the first time, I guess, I would like to thank everyone for coming and tell you how magnificent. 34 months ago, I got thrown out of a crack house for non-sufficient funds into a crisis center. My brother was making a loan for a guy the other day through his mortgage company, and the guy said, I'm going to list a property over in Berea. And my brother asked him how much it was. we put an offer on the house, and I'm co-buying a house with my brother. So for the first time since I was ejected from my house in 1992, I've been homeless that long, not living on the streets, but I will have a place of my own. That you can't get there from here or here from there. And I'll have a place for you guys to come visit if you ever want to come visit. You know what I mean? For Founders Day and the like. So thank everyone for coming. Paige, please come in and give us the final closing statements or whatnot. And thank you so much for the flyers and your participation in putting this together. Love you all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'll stop the record.